Harmony of Dissonance.
Hey, what's up everybody? My name is JupiterClimb, and today I'll be speedrunning Castlevania Harmony of Dissonance. Time will start in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Now I am really excited to show off this run. This is the first time ever that Juiced Belmont, our protagonist, has been featured at GDQ events. I understand that over the years this game has earned a mixed reputation, but I really love Harmony. This is definitely the kind of game that grows on you the more you play it. It's got dynamic movement, dynamic combat, and it's also very technical. So, for example, coming up shortly, we have got an inbounds door warp wall clip. That is a frame perfect, sub-pixel perfect. So starting out with a tricky one, but let me take a quick detour up here. I'm gonna pick up an optional relic called the Soul Orb. This allows us to see exactly how much damage we're dealing to enemies, which is nice to have for a marathon run. So here we go. I've got a dash on the perfect frame and get lucky with the sub-pixels. I'm gonna try and get this within 10 tries. Second try is outstanding, let's go. That gets me the Lizard Tail, which is the slide ability. Okay, so this category is no out of bounds. So the main rule I gotta follow is that I can never leave the boundaries of the screen. Other sorts of glitches and skips are allowed, but in this game, if you try, it's pretty easy to get out of bounds. And that totally transforms the route. I'm definitely not gonna call this category vanilla. There's all kinds of skips going on, but it's maybe a bit more what you would expect from a Harmony speedrun. We're gonna be grabbing a couple of extra heals along the way. And this save coming up is actually not a safety save. We're gonna be using this for a cool routing trick a little bit later in the run. And while story is not really a priority when it comes to Castlevania, let's quickly talk about what's going on here. So in a nutshell, our best friend Maxim has been cursed by Dracula and has abducted our other friend Lydia. So our journey here is to rescue Lydia, collect all 6 of the Vlad relics, put on our friendship bracelets, and finally save Maxim. We are going for the best ending here. Something else I'll point out, Harmony does have a combo system. So here you'll notice I'm gonna alternate between short hop attacks and dash attacks. The reason for that is when you chain together different types of attacks, it'll cut through enemy iframes, allowing you to stack up the damage quickly. But if you really want to stack up the damage, you gotta go for something called a damage stack. For this, we're gonna need a sub-weapon like the axe here. And let me see if I can get this hallway correct. This is a tough one. Excellent, 3 for 3, nice. So to explain briefly how that works, Harmony can only properly keep track of 2 different hitboxes. If you can overlay 3 hitboxes on a single enemy, the third attack will deal damage every frame, which needless to say is quite useful. Nice double whip launch, very good. Gonna dash through this candle. That gives me invincibility for whatever reason. Kind of a bizarre mechanic. Way. What's ultimately would call this game pretty easy, and I think that's true. Speedrun, this is by far. And we're gonna remain underleveled.
We're taking a quick break while we work on something. Let's go back to some fun donations. How about this one? So we've been reading limericks, which are super fun, and Anonymous donates $25. They say, it's time for another SGDQ, with runners all waiting in queue. Raise money for good cause, race on without pause, with hosts reading our jokes on cue. Thank you, Anonymous. Sunfellow donates $20 and says, good luck to all the runners in the online block. Proud to donate to this great cause. Yeah, can we give it up for the online block? We have a $5 donation from Treefy, who says, my first donation here for GDQ. I love watching all the speedruns, and you guys are doing great. Just as always, looking forward to a great week. Stark M donates $150. They say, hello, GDQ. I'm an artist on Netflix's newly announced Castlevania Nocturne, and I just had to donate for the Castlevania block. It's so nice to see GDQ back with a crowd, and I'm so happy to help support an amazing charity like Doctors Without Borders. Good luck to all the runners. All right, one last donation here. Captured Bird donates $20 and they say, how about a dono train for those amazing prizes? Thank you so much, Captured Bird. JupiterClimb is back. We're ready for the run. Let's give it up.
Much. Still here in the skeleton cave. Couple of damage stacks on the way up here. I gotta say, technical issues aside, this has been a nearly perfect start. Hopefully that continues, but we've got a tough boss coming up, which could throw a wrench into things. Now my heart count's looking okay. I'm gonna end up with 28 for the boss, which is where I wanna be, but just barely. All right, so if you've played Castlevania 3, this boss should look familiar. This is the Skull Knights. And this fight is all about damage stacks. Let's see how it goes. Okay, good stacks so far. That's phase 1 down, 2 more to go. Okay, let's be a little careful here. Not the best pattern. Like I said, it's a tough one. This is intended to be the third boss overall. We're doing it first. Gotta find the right time for another stack attempt here. Nice. It should be a few hits away now. Excellent. That was a large stack. Hoping for more of those over the course of the run. Okay, I'll take it. Now here's why we saved earlier. I'm gonna grab double jump here. We're gonna use the save room feature in the menu. I'm playing on the advanced collection, so I'm gonna open up the reset option in the advanced collection main menu. And we're right back here at the save point with all of our items intact. This is a really cool take on the suspend feature that's common in Castlevania. Okay. Another momentum transfer to get up here. This game is known for having a lot of backtracking, and I wish they explained this mechanic more, because it cuts out like 80% of it. We're gonna use it again here, put on platinum tip, save, resets, and we're back again. So that skip right there, I got a couple of important things. I got the platinum tip, which is the overall best whip upgrade, plus 20 attack. I also picked up a warp point for later. You'll also notice we upgraded our sub-weapon from an axe to a cross. This is considered the best sub-weapon in the game by most, and it's gonna remain that way until the end game. We've got one slightly better option coming up later. But yeah, with one good stack, giant bat here should go down. Uh-oh. That's a skill issue. All right, we'll take a 2-cycle. I got hearts to burn here. There we go. And coming up, we've got our first of the 6 of Vlad relics. Now from here, we're going to be doing a little bit of backtracking to the next area. So now is a great time for donations.
Thank you very much. I love times for donations. Trainer Anade donates $25. They say, great to see/hear the live event, and I appreciate the hybrid version that allows for some runners to go virtually, less than 3. Thank you, Trainer Anade. We also have Drac Spirit Board Valentine donates $250. And it's a long one, I'm gonna go fast. It says, howdy Jupe, I'm still in belief that my man Juice is making his GDQ debut. But based on what I'm seeing, I should really start believing. Harmony is one of my favorite games, period. So it's truly wonderful to be seeing it here. Everyone on Discord is rooting for you. Through the luck stat in this, though the luck stat in this game may be broken, that doesn't stop us all from wishing you the best of it. Have a great run, and remember, this is a Jupe easy game.
Well, Spirit Board, thank you so much for the incredibly generous donation. And big shout outs to the Discord for watching. Now, at this point, I want to point out, you'll notice that parts of the castle have a slightly different feel to them. There are actually 2 castles we're traveling between, Castle A and Castle B. This game tries to iterate on the Symphony of the Night idea, where there are 2 castles, but here they exist simultaneously. It's a pretty cool way to design a game, but it does mean it's very easy to get lost in Harmony. So this is the cavern. Enemies are starting to get pretty scary now. Gotta be really careful not to get hit too much. And you'll also notice in a couple of spots here, I'm gonna be picking up big hearts. The cross is a little bit more expensive than the axe we were using before. It costs 5 hearts instead of 4. So we've got a couple of proper heart farms routed in, but along the way, we're gonna get a few as well. It's fine. So now with double jump, we can get all the way up here and go to another warp, which will bring us back to Castle A. Okay, this is the Sky Walkway coming up. And that earlier save point we were using to warp around, no longer helpful. So we're gonna update it with a new save. Another safety heal here. And okay, here we go. So at this point, we're gonna be making a long trip all the way to Sky Chapel B. And then we'll have to come back here immediately. So that save is gonna save us minutes on its own. This room is pretty dark. You're supposed to have an item that improves visibility in this room, but if you know the layout well enough, you can do without it. Nice. That actually skips a boss fight. Speaking of boss fights, one of my absolute favorite sections in the run right here. This is the Meme Boss Gauntlet, the trilogy. We've got 3 bosses back to back to back that are widely ridiculed by Castlevania players. They've all got uninspired designs, they're just larger versions of common enemies. But trust me, in a speedrun, they're very technical and very complex. You gotta believe me, they're fun. Excellent. Double dive kick stack, that's perfect. I think my heart count's looking fine. I'll probably grab a safety heart. But yeah, the first meme boss coming up is Giant Merman. This is gonna be a combination of regular stacks and dive kick stacks. Let me get 1 spare. Excellent fight. Clean 1 cycle. All right, that's 1 meme boss down, 2 more to go. For this part here, we've got our first heart farm. So another good donation spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I wanted to mention, it looks like we're just under $24,000 away from 200K. Do you think we can hit 200K before the end of Remote Block? Tip of the hat to the remote runners. What do you think?
That would be a huge milestone to hit. All donations are very much appreciated.
I think we can do it. How about this one? Tisud says, a limerick for you all. It's finally Games Done Quick time. We're here to make that tracker climb. While watching these games cut down in the frames, why not support with your Twitch Prime? And that's a $50 donation. Or Prime Gaming,
nice
yeah,
one.
Prime Gaming. What is that? Magic words.
Now, every Castlevania's got its worst enemy type. Sometimes it's bats, sometimes it's frogs, oftentimes it's Medusas. In this game, it is unquestionably the harpies here. I just picked up some extra armor solely so I don't get 2-shot by the harpies. They are incredibly strong and move incredibly unpredictably. But that was good. No damage yet. Okay, meme boss number 2 coming up right here. You know what? Let me go ahead and just heal up. I had a feeling that was coming. This is gonna be Max Slimer. If I take contact damage from the big slime, it'll drain about half my health and poison me. So I want to get close for stacks, but not too close. And at this point, the Slimer is too small for stacks, so we got to do it manually. Very nice. 1 meme boss left, and I think it's everybody's favorite. But first, Let me actually reset this room. It's easier to dive kick on this candle here. Hang on. Gonna play this ultra safe, like I said, very scared of the harpies here. There we go, much better. So yeah, this death cutscene opens up the ability to warp between warp points. So this one we got earlier has a key that is useful later. We'll be coming back here at the very end of the run. For now, off to Clock Tower B. And everybody's favorite, Peeping Big. Think Peeping Eye, but big. First though, I think that I'm kind of in the mood for a little bit of pinball. Might want to play some pinball later on. So what I'll do, we'll head down to the arcade here. It's guarded by this Armor Knight. Gonna just break this open. Gotta lure him over here. Steady. Steady. There we go. So yeah, pinball and Castle A little bit later on. You gotta break it down here first to access it. 35 hearts should be plenty. This is a tough fight though. I've gotta get some good dive kick stacks. And we're gonna try and keep Peeping Big near the wall. Okay, that's not a great start. In fact, this is a terrible pattern. Good stack though. Nice, one more. Not bad, good recovery. Yeah, you can get some fat stacks on that fight if it's perfect. I was above average. And there's a convenient heal right here. This room is all about damage boosting, not much more to it. Maybe one or two more donations.
Sure, absolutely. Let's see. I just saw a real good one. Oh, yeah. Okay, so Jade donates $25, and they say, a castle once held old Count Drac, but runners were giving him flack. They slew all the frames, and they raced through the games and breezed through with a whip crack. And Vicarious Vice donates $25. They say, if a Belmont is storming Dracula's castle, he never realizes it until it's too late, and it already dawns on him. Time for one more?
Sure.
Patrick donates $25. They say, getting cozy, watching a great stream, supporting an awesome cause.
Okay, so we did all this to get something called the Crushing Stone. It's kind of like a charge whip. There's no other Castlevania with an item like this one. And if you've played the game casually, you know it's pretty lousy. It actually lowers your attack stat by 5. And the charge itself takes a long time to actually charge up. So it's considered pretty useless, only good for breaking walls. This speedrun, though, might change some hearts and minds when it comes to the Crushing Stone. It is, in fact, a top tier, and there it is. Something I like about Harmony, this game has got 2 separate Legion fights. We're only going to see one coming up right here, Legion Saint. And everything in this room will kill me in 2 hits. So let's try not to die. In fact, I'll do a little bit of a save here, backup save, just in case something goes wrong. Oh, this is a bad pattern. I'm trying to break half of the shell, and then we'll go for some dive kick stacks. Okay, that's one. Good. Maybe one more. Excellent. So let me show off how the crushing stone works. You hold whip, you can charge it up, and then release an attack like this. We're gonna break this fake wall over here and pick up our next Vlad relic. Believe it or not, this next boss coming up is the final boss in the game, where we're gonna be using the cross stack. You might be wondering, I mean, this seems pretty dang good. How could it get much better than this? Well, stay tuned. Here we are fighting Evil Maxim, aka Shadow, going back to Platinum Tip, and this new piece of armor we picked up, the Blizzard Robe. This gives us better defense and some intelligence as well. Good, nice. That's what we call the one cross strat. You can defeat that boss with a single cross if you get it going backwards and forwards. So excellent, okay. So far the bosses have gone great this run. And now we're gonna reset all the way back here. Quick story update for those interested. At this point in the game, Maxim is aware that he's been possessed by Dracula and wants to make amends, wants to help us out. So he is gonna give us his friendship bracelet, the best friend forever ring. What a guy. There it is. This is needed for the true ending, and it's also gonna open up a locked door at the top of the chapel. I like this section, it's got some cool movements, but not much to talk about. Any other donations?
Oh yeah, absolutely. In fact, actually, so we challenged everyone to get to 200,000 before the end of our remote blocks. We have about another hour and a half to raise just over $23,000. And I would highly encourage anyone who's donating to make sure that you are applying your donation towards an incentive. Now, what are some incentives, you might ask? Well, tonight, if we manage to raise $90,000, we'll be able to watch our bonus game 2, Five Nights at Freddy's Security Breach. Right now, we're currently sitting at $22,000 out of 90. That means we need to raise over $68,000 today, and I'm only asking for the first third of it before the end of remote block. What do you think, crowd? Can we do it?
So this right here is a pretty cool trick. Just wait here for the winged skeleton, dive kick on up. Get this Vlad relic early. And this is the door where you need the Maxim bracelet. I'll put that on. Now there is another boss fight, normally a tough one, immediately to our left. But we are gonna bail. And play some pinball. Saving the world comes later. Gonna save here. And 18th century pinball is a little bit different than what you might expect. It's more of a race than a score attack game. You just gotta go down and get around the Arabakis here. Okay, so that metallic pinball there, I've got to beat it to the end of the race. Not too hard to win once you know the room layout, but this room is a lot of fun to optimize. For example, here I'm going to go for some corner jumps. Nice. You've also got to make sure your slide chains and your dash chains are on point. And I did promise I would go for a meme strat coming up, which saves no time and I will not get. But if I get it, it'll look very cool. Yeah! All right, nice. I saved like tens of frames, barely dodged the fireballs. Algorithm, if you're watching, that was for you. Okay, So we made that full loop around the race to get the Bolt book. It's kind of the main gimmick of Harmony, and this is the first we're seeing of it. If you combine a spell book with a sub-weapon, you'll get a unique spell. They kind of run the gamut. Some are terrible, some are good. It's a speedrun though, so you can probably guess. We have just picked up an absolute top tier. Now I think we're ready to go fight Pazuzu. I will be changing out my sub-weapon from the axe to the book. And did you know there are shortcuts in this game to automatically swap between books without opening up the menu? Really cool feature, the game never explains it. All right, so here we go. Those were some large stacks. Very good. Let's talk a little bit about how that works. Remember back to the damage stacking fundamentals, we need 3 distinct hitboxes on an enemy at once. There it's the regular whip, plus the charge whip, plus the Gradius shield. And Gradius shield is already one of the strongest spells in the game, so getting damage with it every frame is incredible. Bosses are gonna absolutely melt for the remainder of the run. And that's the good news. The bad news is that because of all the skips we've done, all the enemies we've jumped over, we are comically underleveled at this point. So you can think of our current build as like a glass cannon build. Very strong, but very frail. So you'll see me go for a few safety strats along the way here just to make sure I don't take too much damage. So at this point in the run, we've got an elaborate side quest to get the final Vlad relic. I'm gonna pop in here for a warp later. This is where that lure key we got earlier is useful. I've got to go down to caverns, pick up a save point, then go to the skeleton cave, get a floodgate key, and use that key to drain the water before death. This is gonna take a while. One thing I'll note about this area, most enemies are fine, but the spellcasters can two-shot me. So like these sirens here, I gotta make sure I don't take any damage. But that's about it. A little bit more downtime here if we've got donations.
For sure. Dr. Bob-tastic donates $34. They say, now here is a fact to amuse about any limerick you choose. By syllable count, there's just the amount to end up with 2 full haikus. Thank you, Dr. Bob-tastic. And Ari Plays Jazz donates $20. They say, let's go JupiterClimb, killing this Harmony of Dissonance run, and let's get those donos in for our Five Nights at Freddy's bonus game. Yes! We still need over 23K, or actually a lot, over 67K to get there.
All right, so I've got a question for the GDQ chats, if I may. How many people are fans of box puzzles in video games? How many people just love it when they come across a box puzzle? Oh, nobody? Well, I've got some bad news. There are 3 in this one area. It's very unfortunate. On the bright side, 2 of the 3 we can actually skip with another series of wall clips. This first one's unskippable though, but thankfully it is the shortest. Slowly pushing it along. Okay. This section is also a nice demonstration of the Gradius shield. Let me get this one real quick. Come on. There we go. The way this is supposed to be used, not with stacks, is you just keep it in front of you, and it mows down enemies and candles alike. Even without stacks, it's one of the best spell combos. All right, so this next one coming up is even trickier. It's kind of a multi-part skip. So let's see how this goes. I'm actually gonna break this entirely. I don't want the shield for this part. There we go. So I'm gonna explain most of how this works after it happens. It's gonna be a lot in like 1 second. Okay, not enough speed there. There we go. Excellent, very good. So a lot happened in that 0.7 seconds. I clipped into the wall, which warped me up to a single tile gap where you can only slide. I then waited for the enemy to descend so I could take damage, changing my game state from a slide state to a crouch state. And from there I did another trick where you can use the whip and then dash to get a pseudo dash, and Juiced will poke out his head just enough to pick up the key from underneath the floor. We did all that to skip a single box puzzle. Was it worth it? You know what? I think it was. We're gonna use that key right here. Now this is the part of the run I have been dreading the most. This is the death fights coming up. It's one of the toughest in the category. Maybe not the toughest, but if you want it to go well, it requires some pretty good RNG at the start. And in practice, my runs have not been going super great at this fight. Just bad luck after bad luck. However, on the bright side, it is a marathon. And as we all know, marathon luck is always great, and nothing bad ever happens. So I'm sure it'll be fun. Got a couple pieces of armor here, which are nice, but I'll still die in like 3 hits to death. Gonna put these on. You're gonna heal up here. I am looking for any pattern except the one where death immediately descends. There it is! The GDQ classic. Worst RNG. All right, I'm gonna make it work. Okay, from here I'm gonna use a big mana prism. I think it's the right call. Okay, that's phase 1. Let's see how phase 2 goes. Excellent phase 2. Okay, we got the worst RNG as expected, but made it work. Okay. If you've played Symphony of the Nights, this is basically the gravity boots from that game. I can do a super jump by pressing down then up, or down then up forward. Like this. And this is gonna open up the final Vlad Relic location. Okay, back to Castle B entrance. I have to break open a ceiling, and for that I need something called the Crush Boots, which are deep into Marble Gallery. And this is without question the scariest area to navigate. These are ultra late game enemies. That was very close. So I'm gonna try to focus in here. Another great time for donations.
Absolutely. Anonymous donates $250. They say, didn't know anything about Castlevania until JupiterClimb ran it at AGDQ last winter. Loved it immediately and had to donate during his run. Thank you, GDQ and MSF. Love you all. P.S. Remember to hydrate and call your loved ones to tell them you love them.
Thank you so much. I'm glad you liked the AGDQ run. Now let me just point out there I got very lucky. The right enemy hit me, so it didn't do a whole lot of damage. That could have been much worse. But please continue.
Yeah, Armadillo64 donates $25, who says, love watching these amazing runners whip these Castlevania games into shape. Keep up the good work. Thank you so much. And King TDN also donates $25. They say, I finally have some time off work to catch SUDQ live. Hype! Yeah, I'm hyped for that too, because same.
Gonna grab an extra potion down here, and this is the first sighting of the medicine jar. Gonna put this on here. And yeah, it's like a full 5 seconds of invincibility. It's very useful. Okay, and there are the crush boots. Time to save and warp. In terms of equipment, we're pretty much ready to go. Like, we've got enough to make it work. But there is a nice piece of armor that's not too far out of the way called the War Fatigues. This is an all-around bump to defense, offense, and to my intelligence. So we're gonna grab that first. So we're reaching the end here. Final Vlad coming up right up top. How about a quick story update? At this point in the game, you can pick between one of 3 different endings, depending on how you approach the final boss. We could fight Maxim in Castle A, but that would only get us the neutral ending, where Lydia and Just survive, but Maxim tragically sacrifices himself. And we are best friends, that's not gonna cut it. So instead what we're gonna do, oh my god. Instead what we're gonna do is head to Castle B and use those Vlad relics we've collected to open up Dracula's domain. Small spoiler warning, Dracula is indeed the final boss.
Can I get a quick donation?
I can't
real
begin
quick?
to tell you how many runs I have lost over my Harmony career to bad Maxim RNG. So please wish me luck, I'm gonna need it. Putting on the War Fatigues. We're gonna keep on the arm plates and the friendship bracelets, okay? Here we go. That's perfect. Perfect phase 1. On to phase 2. I'm gonna go for an inconsistent stack here. Let's see if I get it. Did not. I probably have 3 cycle then. There we go. And if I can wrap this up with a large stack or 3, time's gonna be coming up very soon. Perfect fight. I am so happy with that. Okay, I'm gonna collect this orb. Time coming up. Excellent time. Okay, so my apologies for the technical issues, but besides that, the bosses were crisp. I was really happy with my movements. Hopefully that was a fun showcase of Harmony of Dissonance.
Do you have any shoutouts?
If I could give just some quick closing comments. The past year and a half has been the most active time for Castlevania ever. Whether you're talking about speedruns or randomizers, it's never been more active and more competitive. So we'd love to get more runners in. If you're interested, please do check us out. And thank you so much, GDQ, for letting me participate remotely. With any luck, next year, I'll have a chance to meet you all in person.
All right. Thank you so much for that, JupiterClimb. Give it up, everyone, for an incredible run. One more donation here, and I'm sure a lot of people can agree with this one. Jen Hansen donates $5 and says, here's $5 to acknowledge that JupiterClimb's voice is pleasant to listen to. Thank you, I agree. And with that, we're gonna take a quick break. We will be right back after this.
I'm psychologist,
project coordinator,
community engagement coordinator.
I am a medical doctor. I work with Doctors Without Borders, which we also call MSF.
MSF is a humanitarian medical organization. But in my opinion, it's more than that.
To me, MSF is an organization that has principles and values that relate with my own.
Most organizations goes to communities with solutions. MSF tries to get solutions from the people, the patients that they treat.
We are always the first responders.
Sometimes we go to places where we are the only source of relief available.
All the patient that comes to our facility is being treated free of charge. And we treat them equally, no matter where they come from.
More than 100 trauma patients every day came into our hospital, which was beyond our limit at a time. But we didn't refuse any patient. This is what MSF is.
It's a group of people who shares the common idea that each human being has the right for medical care.
It could be due to conflict,
Epidemics,
disasters.
pandemics.
It could be people that have limited access to care.
MSF looks at what is in the best interest of the patients.
We have the freedom to decide and to respond to the needs wherever they are, as we are not influenced by governments or politics.
We want to be less and less necessary. We try to develop a work that will continue even when we leave the country.
MSF goes beyond where everyone else would go.
This is Doctors Without Borders.
Welcome back, everyone. We're about to go to an interview. I believe it's with Fu for, well, how about Fu takes it away from here?
Hello there. Hello. I am Kungfufruitcup, and today I am joined by TGH and Glan, who are getting ready to do their upcoming race, any percent glitchless race of Link's Awakening. This is the 2019, I believe, Switch remake. Is that correct? 2019, right?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, great. How are you two doing today?
Doing all right. I'm glad to be back running at another GDQ.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is my first time speaking with you, Glan. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty all right as well. Same as Tej. Happy to be running. This is my second GDQ, so and excited to race with TGH.
I'm sure it's going to be fantastic. Now, you two both have a lot of Zelda experience, so I kind of want to jump in there. Like, Glan, I know that you've done a ton of A Link to the Past, speedrunning in all kinds of different categories, and then TGH, obviously, you've done so many different handheld Zelda games. Now, in order to like prepare for this run, since it is like the Switch, since it is the Link's Awakening remake, how do you think that your Zelda experiences kind of separately have maybe helped you prepare for this run? Let's start with you, TGH.
Sure. I mean, I don't know. Like the Zeldas are so different. Like with like the 2D Zelda, you wouldn't think that the 2D Zeldas are like so much different, like amongst each other, between each other. But like, yeah, they're pretty different, both in aesthetic and also gameplay. Just like, just because your top-down view and controlling Link in only 8 directions or 4 in the case of Zelda 1, just it doesn't mean that the games play exactly the same. And so, I mean, honestly, I would say that like, yeah, some things carry over, like menuing, movement optimizations can carry over, but really it's like you're playing different games every time. And this is definitely no exception. In fact, I'd say the gap is probably greater with this game just because of the little nuances here and there of just how the game plays.
Yeah, that's fair. And Glan, I know that would probably be a pretty similar idea for you, but would you say that, you have like a pretty wide variety of what you've speedrun, like, but with Link's, with at least A Link to the Past, you've done so much within it. Do you think there's any like tips or like tricks that you've used in that maybe have been like, oh, this has actually been really useful, or, you can find a similar exploit or something?
Yeah, I was gonna say I would agree that the games are all pretty different, but I think that there actually is some similarity, at least for me, with A Link to the Past in terms of at least how I approach the run. Maybe it's just true for all 2D Zeldas, but just stuff like, cutting corners optimally, reacting to enemy RNG, optimizing dashes specifically would be a similarity with Link to the Past.
Yeah.
Since it's one of the few Zelda games with the Pegasus boots.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So there's that.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I guess they were released somewhat fairly close together, the originals at least. Yeah. So that makes sense. Now, I want to move into a Twitter question now because I think it's a very good question. This is from our very own @CovertMuffin, who asks, what is your favorite part or aspect of the run that gets added in from running glitchless as a constraint? Since this is a glitchless category as opposed to, just a regular any percent. So, Glan, why don't we start with you this time?
I guess I can't give an entirely truthful answer because I haven't run the glitched categories of this game. But something I feel that is very underappreciated in the glitchless run is Candlelit Castle, which is skipped in every glitch category entirely. But there's a lot of interesting combat and specific movement and stuff you do there. I think it's a very interesting part of the game.
Sure.
That gets overlooked.
Yeah, absolutely. What about you, TGH?
Yeah, I agreed, honestly, with that. And coming from somebody who has run most of the categories for this game, all the main ones at least, except for 100%, really, it's just like the extra emphasis on movement and just like the little things make it feel like a whole different experience. Really, for me at least, that's the case with a lot of games that I run, or a lot of games that I run the glitchless category of, especially, is just how different it feels just from the emphasis put on different aspects. So glitchless really puts that emphasis on menuing, very small movement nuances, optimizations. I've been using those words a lot, but you get what I'm saying.
It's true though. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes it feel just like it's just a totally different experience.
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, okay, so I mean, it's also kind of related. All this is kind of related. Let's be real, but this is similar to what I was going to ask. So I'm just going to go with GG Monks' question: is what is the toughest trick in the run? Then, especially as a glitchless category, you know, it's like less so of like, what's this really big skip you're going to do? But then instead, like, what do you think that would mean? Either of you could go.
Yeah, there's one in particular that comes to mind for me, and that's the D4 bomb jump.
Okay.
Is really, I think that's probably by far the toughest trick that we do. It's like arguably a glitch, but it's not really a glitch. A lot of people like to try to say it's a glitch, but I don't agree. I think it's just perfect. I think it's an exploit.
Yeah.
It's a movement exploit, and you're just taking advantage of the things that are available to you. But it is still the hardest trick to me in the run for sure.
Gotcha. Glenn, do you have anything you want to add?
I would definitely agree that that's the hardest trick, but
Yeah.
I'll also point out that like immediately following that in the run is the cue ball fight in Dungeon 4, and that is, I would say, by far the hardest boss fight to do perfectly.
Okay.
The quick kill is really challenging.
Okay, so do you have any kind of like backup things that you can use for these moments, or like what do you do?
For the bomb jump, you just have to retry it.
Mm-hmm.
Cue ball, depending where you fail the quick kill, you kind of have to improvise.
Gotcha.
There's not really like any sort of fixed strat there.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
the main thing with the bomb jump in D4 is that bombs in this game, for no discernible reason, take 2 hearts when you get hit by your own bomb.
Wow.
That is not the case in the original, not the case in the Game Boy version. In fact, in the Game Boy version, you don't take any damage at all from your own bombs. But in LAS, as we call it affectionately in the community, in LAS or Link's Awakening Switch, you take 2 hearts for whatever reason. So that makes that trick a lot more punishing if you miss it.
Yeah.
You may have to auto load, or we'll get into auto loading, or our commentators will get into auto loading during the actual run of what that is. But
Awesome.
you might have to start the dungeon over again, basically.
Right. Oh my gosh. Okay. Well, I'm so excited to see all this. It's been amazing. And the time has already flown by in our interview. So as much as I just want to talk about this forever, unfortunately, you all should go set up for your run. It's going to be so wonderful. Everybody come check it out. See that bomb skip, see the boss fight, like check out all the fun stuff to do. The game is super fun and charming and awesome. It's Zelda, of course. You know me. But thank you, Sue, so much for chatting with me, and good luck on the run. We will see you soon. And for now, I'm going to pass it back up to Bruno Mello.
Socrates donates $25. They say, love this event. First time donating, shout out to everyone who was involved and helped with the amazing event that does so much for others. Hype! All right, keep that hype going. We got Faith, Chapter 3 by Vin.